Welcome to Speedy Walkthroughs, where we show just the important stuff to beating the game. For first time viewers, this will look different to a normal walkthrough. It'll show just the essentials, so you don't need to spend a long time watching this video. Today we're playing Final Fantasy VII, which is a pretty big RPG made by Square. Sometimes it can get pretty confusing where to go in this game, so I will show you where we'll be going. I'll talk a little bit about the battling mechanics and strategies used, but I'll try and hold off since a big part of the fun of this game is figuring out which materia you want to use and how to combine them and stuff. Obviously, since this game is pretty story driven, do expect some spoilers along the way, just a heads up. Before you get stuck into it, if you end up finding this helpful, please consider subscribing to keep up to date. I have videos coming out like this pretty regularly and subscriptions help out a whole bunch. Alright, so the game starts off here where you're coming off the train as Cloud. You get into a few different battles here and there. So once you're in the battles, you just basically want to attack for now. There's not really a whole lot more worth doing. If you want, you can try and use some magic if you want a stronger attack for a particular battle. But basically just chug through these battles and make your way forward. You're going to make your way into like a new area. I'm going to change some settings to make everything fast, and that just makes the game go by a bit quicker. You're going to get through this gate. These basically keep following forward. You're going to follow these guys through to where we need to go. This section is fairly linear, so you're unlikely to get lost here. We're going to make our way down to the Mako reactor. Just keep heading here and we'll go down the elevator. When you're at the bottom of the elevator, just following these stairs down. Yeah, and continuing on with that. Just want to head down this door at the bottom and then make our way down this ladder. You can usually press the OK button to jump, which would be circle on a PlayStation controller. Worth picking up the item there and heading down further. Alright, once you make your way down, you're heading into this reactor. We pick up a materia, but we can't actually use materia yet, so there's nothing really we can do there. But we're going to get a boss fight coming up in a second. Just the main thing with this boss is you want to look out for when its tail goes up like this. If you attack it during this little section, it's going to do a big counter attack for lots of damage, so try and avoid that. You're in the battle, you're just going to head out of the reactor now. Also, one thing to make sure of as you're playing this game is just to equip any stuff you find. So just make sure you're going for the strongest thing or whatever you want with the materia slots and whatever. And given we're under a timer on the way out of the reactor, it's probably a good idea to use some of Cloud's magic to go through these enemies a bit quicker. If you do want, you can run away from enemies by holding both of the shoulder buttons on the controller. It'll just take a little while before they run away, but you'll see they like turn around and start running. Now, you probably picked up a lot of items along the way, so if you are low on health, feel free to use some potions to top that up. We're just going to make our way out here. It's not a bad idea to talk to Jesse there, otherwise they get stuck pretty much. So he's heading up these stairs and coming back out the way we came, up through this lift with the weird pie symbol on it as well. Make your way back out through this section. There's a little item you can pick up here. It's a Phoenix Down. That kind of revives the character if they were to die in a battle or something. Alright, so we're going to get through the door. We got to talk to Jesse to do that. And talk to Biggs to get through the other door. Just head out here. And we'll head to the left here. Seeing one of these awesome cutscenes. Now we're going to talk to Aeris out here. There's not really a right or a wrong answer to what to say to her. It just impacts what happens later on in the game. But you're not going to really be at an advantage or a disadvantage depending on what you say. It's just story stuff really. So we're going to run away from these soldiers here. We can opt to fight them later, which we won't actually end up fighting them at all. It's a little bit easier than just trying to get into a whole bunch of fights. Jump onto the train, that brings us to the next bit of the game. Alright, so we'll be making our way through here into the train carriage. Alright, so I want to talk to these guys. Jesse will show you something on the screen. We then hit the security check zone here. And we end up popping off the train. One thing that I would recommend doing when you play this game is if you hit the select button, it comes up with arrows on the map showing you where all the exits are, like all the doors and stuff. That makes it a little bit easier since it can sometimes be hard to tell where exits are on the map. I won't do that quite yet in this footage, but I do it in a couple of hours of time worth of gameplay. Alright, making our way through, we get to the hideout here. You know, it's all pretty much story stuff, so I won't talk about it too much. Alright, in this little bit, Barret does show you how to use materia if you want to, and now we can start just sort of equipping materia to everyone. So probably a good materia to have is something like Restore. That'll let you heal people without using potions and stuff. Then you want some magic on everyone. Just play around with the materia. That's my main advice. I would keep materia equipped if you can, because materia will actually power up the more you use it. So it's always worth having materia on you. It does lower your stats a bit, but if you're at a comfortable level, it shouldn't matter too much, and it's more worth powering up the materia than it is having those lower stats. Right, so we get into this awkward situation here where we hit the ID check zone. So we just make our way through the train, really. And this guy steals something from us, so basically if you go back and talk to him, then you can get whatever that thing was back, and then just head out the train if you have time. If not, you can just keep running, really. Alright, moving on further through the train. Just keep running forward. Now we jump off the train eventually. Alright, so that puts us back in this tunnel. We're just going to head forward through it. But since we can't get through this little bit, we have to go through the little air vent thing. Grab that item and keep heading through. Head down these ladders. We're going to head left here. Talk to Wedge, and then we're going to head up that ladder. Little item there. Alright, moving on, we're going to head down this little bit. There's lots of little items you can grab. Tents are really good. Tents will restore your health and magic at save points. It sort of treats it as if it was like an inn or something when you use that item. Alright, so sliding down here, we're just going to head down. And then left through this door here. It's a similar path down to the reactor as it was last time. One thing that I'll stress is you can now use just the cure magic rather than wasting all your potions curing people if you want to. We get to the reactor and we have like a little flashback section from the past. You're just going to go up to it and plant those explosives on it and then make your way up. Same sort of path on the way out as it was on the way in. Make your way up these stairs and stuff to get out. I'm going to head up this elevator. And to escape this little bit, you have to hit this switch all at the same time. Just try and time it when the other two characters hit the switch there. Alright, just heading out here. Get a lovely cutscene on this bridge. You gotta fight this guy. It's not too bad, really. Just use your limit breaks and try and use bolt and stuff. I haven't talked too much about limit breaks, but basically they happen whenever you take enough damage. So if you keep getting hit by enemies, that limit break gauge will charge up, and it's a very powerful, strong attack usually. Or something good like healing the entire party or something like that. Just be aware later on in the game with limit breaks. You can swap to a higher limit break level from the pause menu. So you don't want to stay on limit break level 1 forever. You want to sort of swap up through those ranks. And if you don't know to do that, it can be really easy to miss. And limit breaks level up like other stuff as well. Alright, so basically what happens is Cloud falls down and gets separated from the rest of the party. And we're going to meet Aeris in the church, who was that flower girl from before. Alright, we get a little bit intimidated in the church here, so we're going to run out through the back door there. And that brings us into this room here. We're going to go up the top, and there's sort of a situation with barrels happening up here. So basically what we're going to do is knock barrels down onto the people underneath. So it does actually matter what barrels you hit. So just try and hit them in the same sort of order I'm hitting them. I'm going to go this top left one first. Gets that soldier. All right, next we got top right. Yeah, so talk to Aeris up here again. All right, and then this barrel here. And we escape pretty much. So just gonna head out the roof of this church here. You sort of like climb across the rooftops here and then make your way to the left. Alright, so we successfully escaped the church. We're just going to head to the left up here. Now, this is a bit of the game where it's really easy to get confused about where you're going. The reason for that is not super obvious where Aeris' house actually is. So we're just going to head up here. And if you want, you can hit the select button to sort of show all the doors and warps and stuff. So you can buy a couple of bronze bangles, or titan bangles, sorry, just to give yourself a little bit more defense and everything. You can also buy more materia from this shop here. But yeah, the bit that I was saying was confusing is this bit here. That section to the right is actually the path to Aeris' house, which took me a long time to find when I was playing through this game. But if you hit that select button and show all the warps, it'd be a lot more obvious that it's there. Anyway, we go into the house and sort of talk to Aeris' mum here. Lots of story stuff going on. Yeah, we sort of sneak out past Aeris' room because her mum has asked us to leave during the night. But then we're just going to head out here and back down through this section. Believe it or not, Aeris is there waiting for us. So we're just going to head through to that next section of the game here now. Yeah, so this map, you just basically have to go upright and following all those construction-y bits and pieces to get across gaps and stuff. And forward through this section as well. Aeris will want to go on top of this slide thing with you. But we see that Tifa has been kidnapped pretty much, so we're going to go and save her next. This next section of the game is like really quite weird, and it's also a bit confusing about where to go. So the first thing you want to do is go down to this section here and talk to all these people. Alright, once we talk to all those people, you want to head back out. And make your way up towards the top of town. We're just going to get some weapons here. Very worth getting these whenever we have the opportunity to, really. And of course, equip them all once you got them. Alright, we're going to continue heading up here. We'll talk to this dude. So basically what needs to happen is we both need to get into this mansion here. And the way we're going to achieve that is by dressing Cloud up as a girl to get in. Alright, so once you've had that conversation, just leave this section here. Go all the way down. You go into this little house. And talk to these people in here. Alright, once you talk to those people, you want to head back out. And we're going into this building. You gotta talk to this guy at the counter. He'll help us make the clothes that we need. Alright, we're gonna head back out now. And back into that shop we went to before. So Cloud goes in and tries on the dress. But it's not quite complete yet. We still need more bits and pieces for the outfit. Alright, you want to head into this building next. This is the gym, and you got to do like a squats challenge. Just follow the button press instructions. They say try not to rush it too much. The dude that you're challenging against will sort of get psyched out halfway through and miss various squats, so you don't have to be absolutely perfect to get this. Alright, with that done, we're just going to head out. And back to this shop again. And we're all properly dressed up now. Aeris will also get dressed up. Alright, with that we can head back up. I'm going to go back up to this mansion. Now that we're dressed up, they'll let us both in. Alright, so they sort of let us roam free in this area, and we're going to go up into this room here, which is really creepy. But anyway, so Tifa and Aeris will both come down here. There's an item in the left corner if you want to grab it as well. You have a little conversation, and then we get called back upstairs. Alright, so we're going to head back upstairs now. And we sort of go into this main room here. Now, a couple different things can happen, depending on who he picks. But he doesn't pick Cloud, so we're going to get sort of the longer path in this little video. Basically, what happens if he doesn't pick Cloud is you end up going to this room here. So pretty much what's going to happen is they're going to chase you around the room. You get into a couple battles, but that's all you really need to do. Alright, more battles. Alright, now we can actually head out of this ring because everyone's gone, and we head up into that main room. Before we do that, we just have to save Aeris here. Now we can head into this main room and save Tifa. You have a big interaction with Don. And Don sort of opens a trapdoor which puts us into the sewer. We're pretty much going to have a boss fight right now, so make sure you healed up and everything for that. Alright, once you've fought that boss, you want to make your way out of the sewers. So the correct path is sort of up through here, up the steps, down here. The steel material is pretty good. You might want to have that equipped and just use steel occasionally whenever you feel like it. If you know the game really well, there are good items to steal from specific enemies. Now we're going to head further out up this ladder. And we sort of come to this train section. It can be a little bit tricky trying to get through these since it's not totally obvious where the right path is. We're going to go up this first train here. Grab the item, but then back down. Sorry, not back down. You're going to go across to this next train here. Grab another item. Yeah, you can sort of see it's like very weird what way you're actually supposed to go. Alright, continuing on, we want to go up this train. And through a little door. Now in this section you can actually push the trains as well. Alright, so nice item on top of this one. And if you get into the door, those trains will get pushed. So there's that one. And we push the other one. Now we just head up this bit and jump across. And we head out of that train bit. You'll start noticing it's looking very familiar here. This is near where their hideout was, but we've got to go through this little gate first. Alright, so basically we've got to stop them from blowing up this big pillar. You just climb up the steps here. And you eventually make your way all the way up to the top. Talk to Barret up here. Just make sure that you're well equipped for like boss fights and stuff now. Restore is always a very good material to have if you can. So we've got the boss fight now. If I remember correctly, you just have to sort of attack Cloud if you get stuck in that prism shape thing. Or whoever's stuck, you just attack them to get them out. Alright, so the fight will be done, but unfortunately this thing's still going to get blown up. Alright, so it did get blown up, but we managed to escape. You can go back up into this room and grab that sense materia if you like. Let me just head back down through this room here. Alrighty, we're going to head right and up. Grab some materia if you want it. We're just going to keep heading back up through to Aeris' house. We go upstairs and see Marlene, and Aeris' mum's going to be taking care of Marlene for now. Alright, we leave Aeris' house area. I'm going to go back through here, up through this little construction section. You go back up through this ruined playground area thing, and back up into these markets that we were in before. Pretty much you want to go up here into the weapons store, but we don't want to buy weapons, we actually want to buy batteries from this guy. So say yes to him because we'll need those later, and then head back out. Next thing we want to do is sort of head up here and follow these people through. You're then just going to climb this pole essentially, and that'll get us up to the Shinra headquarters. Alright, climbing up this can get a little bit puzzly with like the batteries and stuff. Alright, so we're going to come up here, jump across, go in and insert that battery. The propeller turns just that little bit, which lets us get across. There we go, you jump up that. Then want to go and put this other battery in here, which lets us up here. Try and time the jump across here to get across. Then we keep heading up. Alright, with this bit you can actually drop down onto this battery here and insert it. Then you head down the left pole and try and time this jump across again. Now it's going to make our way upwards. Alright, so this brings us to the actual Shinra headquarters here. Now you sort of got two options for infiltrating this place. You can take the back stairwell, or you can just go right in the front door and just fight everyone. In this footage, I opted to go through the front door and fight everyone, just because it gives you a little bit more experience. But if you're playing this, I'd probably recommend just climbing the staircase in the back to make your way up. Alright, so you make your way up here towards the elevator. Alright, I managed to get into the elevator here. And we'll get into a few fights on this elevator. Alright, eventually you actually do get off the elevator, and this is sort of where you'd come out if you did take the back stairway here. You fight these guys and they drop keycard 60, so we're going to head through this little bit here and make our way up. Going to go to floor number 60. Right, once you get out onto floor 60, there's this little mini game where you have to hide everyone from the guards. So just walk across in such a way that you're not in a direct eye line of any of these people. And eventually you'll make it through so that all three people can go up these stairs. So you want to talk to this guy down here. And also this one, that guy gives you keycard number 62. This place can get pretty confusing with all the keycards and stuff. Alright, on 62 we've got the mayor's office here, we can talk to them. So we choose best and that gives us another keycard, and we also get the elemental materia. Alright, heading back out now. We go up the stairs. And we can get to this room here. Basically, with these chests, you're going to be inserting the Midgar parts to this model here. So you got to do it in a particular order, grabbing the chests. So try and get the chests in that same order that I'm getting them in. As far as I can tell, I don't think it matters where you put the parts, as long as you put them in a gap. Alright, we're going to head up to floor 66 now that bit's complete. We can see everyone going in there for the big meeting in that central room. We're going to eavesdrop on this meeting, so we're going to climb up into the air vents here and make our way across to this next one. And then we'll sort of see what's happening. Alright, once we're done eavesdropping, we head back out. And we're going to see Hojo walking up there. Alrighty, so he heads out through that door there. Now we're going to follow him through. So there's a couple different characters here. There's Red 13 in the glass there, which we'll get as a playable character pretty soon. There's also Genova in that big dome-shaped thing there. What you want to do is you want to go up to the glass there and look at Genova. You want to start heading up through the room there. And we'll go up through this elevator here. You see Hojo again. So Red 13 will break loose and we get to name him. Then we have a little fight here to do. Alright, so we talk to him for a little bit and then we move on. Alright, so you sort of get to make your party here. I think I went with Cloud, Tifa, and Red 13. I'm about to give a very, very, very big spoiler here, so skip ahead about 30 seconds if you don't want to hear that. Later on in the game, Aeris will die. So I find there's not a whole lot of point leveling her up, given that you don't get to actually keep her later on in the game. So just keep that in mind as you're making parties. Alright, continuing on, you want to head out here and down the stairs. You don't want to get into this elevator here. And we'll be approached by this dude. Alright, we see a pretty big long cutscene and then we get thrown into prison, unfortunately. We can talk to Aeris through the wall or Tifa in our cell. I just want to go sort of around and talk to everyone. And then you want to get some sleep. But when you wake up from that sleep, you're going to find that your jail door is actually open. So you sort of go and check everything out. You wake Tifa up. And then you want to let everyone else out. Alright, so we find that Genova's been stolen. He's going to head back up through here, up through that elevator there. And it's pretty easy to know where to go here, because you basically just follow the trail of blood. Alright, we get a pretty lengthy cutscene here. So you talk to Rufus on the roof, and he tells the other characters to get out, so we're going to be escaping with these characters here. Now just be aware before going into these elevators, there will be a boss fight in here, so make sure you got all your materia equipped and everything you want. Alright, after the elevator boss fight, you fight Rufus as Cloud. Alright, after this boss fight, you can run across and sort of go back down as Cloud. You pick up Tifa. Then we get like a really cool cutscene of escaping the area. So we're going to be escaping Shinra headquarters on the motorbike here. And we'll get like a little mini game to play as we escape as well. Alrighty, so we'll end up out on this road here. Really just follow the prompts for the controls here, and just keep attacking cars to your left and your right as you go through. Eventually you'll get to the end of the road and you get into a boss fight with this big car kind of thing. Kind of reminds me of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, actually. Alrighty, after that boss fight, you get to make yourself a party. Just make it with whoever you tend to like using, really. I'm going for Cloud, Barret, and Red. Tifa's also really good, so consider using her as well. Alright, so we head back out onto the world map. So we get a few different options on the world map. Now we can pretty much save wherever we want to save. And eventually we'll get the PHS, which lets us manage our party on the world map and like choose different characters that we want in there and stuff. So we're going to head upright to this town here. Alright, so we're going to go into the inn in this town, and we're going to get a very, very long flashback sequence. Cloud sort of tells the story of how he met Sephiroth and was in Soldier and stuff. It's really just story-based, this section here. Alright, eventually the flashback does give you control of Cloud, so you can start sort of walking around and doing bits and pieces. The cool thing is he does actually narrate whatever happens in the flashback. Nice little feature to add. You can go into Cloud's house. And you can sort of just play this part however you see fit, doing whatever you'd like to do in the flashback. You can talk to Cloud's mum here, for example. Alright, so then you can go back in here, you can go up to the inn and talk to Sephiroth. And to actually progress the story, you need to talk to him and say, let's get some sleep. So that's exactly what you do. Then you wake up sort of the next day and you're ready to go up to the Mako reactor. So you take a photo, you go up to the Mako reactor here. Basically, you're going to cross this bridge, but the bridge will break underneath you. So you sort of got to find an alternate path up there. When you fall down here, just keep heading up. Here is cave, for example. And eventually you get to this little bit here, which means we're getting pretty close to the reactor. Alright, continue up this path, and we want to head in there. Climb down the little chains there and head up towards Sephiroth. And we get a lot of story and cutscenes happening here. Alright, eventually you'll load back into Nibelheim in the flashback. You want to go into this mansion here. In the mansion there's sort of like a secret room. You got to climb the stairs and go to the right up here. You want to hit that to get through. Head away down and we'll see Sephiroth down here. Sephiroth is sort of going a bit unhappy about the situation. Alright, so Cloud just sleeps up there, and then we want to go back into that room with Sephiroth. You'll see that he's pretty much snapped here and isn't very happy at all. He then runs away, and you want to leave here as Cloud. Once you leave the mansion though, you'll find that the town is on fire. Sephiroth has done this. It's pretty much how the flashback ends. So Cloud goes back to the reactor there and faces off against Sephiroth. Alrighty. And once we've sort of done that, the flashback is over and we can continue on with the main story of the game. You want to just head out here. Tifa gives you the PHS, which lets you manage your party on the world map. And just be aware if you want to change characters, you can use that. There's a few little goodies to get as well. Up here, there's like a really good item at the top of that cupboard. You just keep being persistent. You keep like clicking it and eventually it falls down. Make sure you grab that one. Alright, there's an ether in there. And there's a few like shops and stuff that we can grab weapons and stuff from. So if you have a particular party in mind that you want to be using, I'd suggest only grab the weapons enough for that party, and don't bother like leveling up every single person. Sometimes you're forced to use particular party members, but it's not too frequent in this game. Alright, now that we're done there, we're going to head over and get a Chocobo. Make sure that you have some money here. You'll need quite a bit of it to get the Chocobo lure. Alright, moving over to the right, and you can sort of see on the world map what dot we're going to be going to. You'll see that you're in the right place because there's those footprints on the ground. Now, I didn't realize this when I was playing, but there's actually a hidden Chocobo lure you can find rather than spending the money. I think that hidden Chocobo lure is just to the right when you walk in here. So that's probably a better strategy than actually spending the money like I'm about to. But basically, the reason we need a Chocobo is to get across the marsh. There's like this dragon snaky thing that attacks us if we try and go across without a Chocobo. Yeah, so make sure you've got that materia equipped to lure the Chocobo. Get into a battle. You want to throw your greens at the Chocobo so that it keeps eating. Kill the other enemies while it's still eating. And if you can get rid of the other enemies and just leave the Chocobo, then that way you'll catch it. Just make sure you don't get off the Chocobo too early. You want to actually cross this marsh thing before you do that. Alright, so we'll head into this cave here. A couple of items up in the top right to grab. Then head back past that door you came in. Bottom right has some more items to grab. The item we grabbed was called a mind source, and it sort of ups your mind stat for any character you want to use it on. So I'd be using those on characters as you grab them. Alright, we come across these guys. Have a chat to us. Yeah, we're going to head up. Alright, so you head up through, grab a couple good items. You'll head back down, and you actually climb this bit here. Again, remember you can hit select to show all the exits, and that'll show the climbable stuff as well. It actually brings us back out onto the world map, so we're going to head straight left. That brings us to a town called Junon. But just before we do that, we're going to get another character called Yuffie. So she's available in any forests on the world map. So it's a random chance that you'll see her, but just keep doing battles until you do find her. You want to defeat her in battle first. Alright, once you defeat her, you come onto this field bit here. You have to answer in very particular ways her questions, so just copy the answers that I'm doing here. It's like not interested is the first bit, then petrified. Then wait a second. There you go, that's right. And let's hurry on. So, for some reason, like when I see about Yuffie online, they say she's not a very good character strategically to use for battles, but I actually found her quite good to use in this playthrough, so I was using her quite a bit. She's going to be a pretty key part of the party for majority of the game for me. And that's pretty much just based on her stats as well. You can see sort of the stats she's got, and they're pretty high. So that's what my party pretty much looks like. It's going to be Cloud, Yuffie, and Red for now. Right now that we got Yuffie, which was optional, we can head up to Junon. So pretty much that town just lives on the left side there. Alright, so we go in. Now, first thing we want to do is sort of head down here. And we see this person with the dolphin. And we got a little boss fight to do. This boss can put you into a bubble, similar to what Rufus did before. I think you need to use magic on your other characters to get him out of the bubble, if I'm not mistaken. After this, we have a little CPR minigame on the beach. Quite an interesting choice for a minigame. The big thing that I found when I played this minigame is you need to hold X for probably a lot longer than you would expect you need to hold it. Sorry, square. Hold it till it gets towards the top like this, and then just keep doing the CPR. Because I remember when I first played this, I pressed it and nothing happened. And then I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to hold it down for a long time. Alright, once we're done the CPR, we head back up into town and go into this house. Alright, so after some cutscene stuff in the house, we come back outside, we talk to these people here. You want to head back down onto the beach, and we'll ride the dolphin up onto this tower here, essentially. So it's a bit tricky to get the timing right, but basically it'll look something like this when you do it. Yeah, so roughly when the dolphin's there and Cloud's there. And he's climbing your way up the tower here, and we are up into the top part of Junon, which is sort of like the main town area. Alright, we ride the elevator down here and continue to walk off. Go through our door there. And then we have some soldier training for marching stuff. This stuff's pretty self-explanatory here, so I'll skip through most of this. Alright, once you've gone through training, you come out here. And we're going to be sneaking through this little bit to get through. Now, when we're in here, we have some TV ratings to hit. Essentially, the better rating you get, the better item you get. So when I was playing this, I tried to time the button presses with what the soldiers were doing. But realistically, it goes a lot better if you just mash the button, to be honest. So I'm just mashing, and those ratings are like skyrocketing when they do that. So yeah, it's very tricky to get that done well, but it doesn't matter too much if you miss it, really. Alright, so continuing on, we have a few cutscenes here. We have to then practice the salutes. Now, before you head off, there's a couple shops to go into. There was that one that I just came out of, and then this one here, which is a weapon shop. Worth checking out if you want to have some upgrades. Alright, after the weapon store, just keep running way down this section. And we have to do our salute stuff here. If you do well, you'll max out the president's mood gauge and he'll be very happy. Alright, pretty much what happens after this is we board the boat, and that lets us cross the ocean here. Alright, so we can talk to Yuffie here, and we can pretty much find everyone we need to. A couple good items to grab as well. Alright, coming on to this main section here, and we can go for a walk around. You talk to Red up here. You pretty much talk to everyone that you can talk to in this section. Gonna head back down the ship. And we can go up this ladder to talk to this person up here. And talk to Barret again up there. Now we can head back downstairs here. And just keep talking to everyone that I talk to. It's always like really unclear who you actually have to speak to up here. But basically, if you leave and come back, then you'll be able to get to the front of the ship instead, which is the really important bit. Alright, so we've pretty much been alerted that they've spotted a suspicious character here. It's actually not us that they've spotted, it's Sephiroth. Alright, so make ourselves a party, just keeping in mind we'll be having a boss fight in a second. And you head downstairs. And now that everyone's sort of gone, we can pick up that all materia, and the all materia is absolutely fantastic. You attach it to a magic and it lets you hit all the enemies with that same magic, rather than just hitting one of the enemies at a time. Red 13 has an all materia already attached when you get him as well, so now we should have 2 at this point. Alright, when you're ready, you want to head through that door that was being blocked before. You'll get into this room. There's a lovely little item to grab up the top here. You make your way back down. And then talk to this guy up here. So Sephiroth will basically come and attack you using Junon. This is the boss fight that I was talking about. We also have the materia dropped as well. This materia is an example of a summon. It uses a lot of magic to actually use the summon, and it has a very long animation, but it is a very powerful attack. So save these for tricky bosses and stuff, or big enemy groups and everything like that. So we'll look back up and then we get a little cutscene of the boat continuing on and making it to the destination. So after a couple of cutscenes, you'll end up in the town here. So you're going to go into this top door first. Lovely power source to grab there. So those are all very good items to have, definitely worth getting. I'm going to make our way down these stairs and in here. This guy in the corner, he'll sell you weapons, so grab those. It's a bit of a choice. I went for the carbon bangles here. You could choose between the carbon bangles or there's like another one, but carbon seemed like the better option when I was doing it, even though it looks like it may have been the worst option. Alright, I'm going to go up to the inn here. And Barret will be talking. And talk to this person here, and Barret comes out. Might as well stay at the inn too while we're here. Alright, so we're going to head out here. And pretty much just head down onto the beach now. You can talk to these people if you want to. And you head back out. Now we're pretty much done in this town, so we got our party back now. We can actually progress through on the world map. We're going to head left, and you can sort of see the dot that we're heading towards on the world map. Alright, so where we want to get to is this cave here. It's sort of a cave thing. Yep, so head forward onto here and we'll come towards another materia reactor. Alright, basically you want to walk till you're getting down towards the bottom of the screen here. And then you want to head out through the bottom. They're actually coming towards Barret's hometown here, so we're going to get a lot of backstory there. Now, if you come across these fireball enemies, probably best to run away, because if you kill them, they will deal a lot of damage to you. Alright, we come across this railway section. You want to go up first and kill that will fall down. You can get various items on the way down, so try and fall roughly into the same spot that I'm falling in. And you can see there's that bag there that we're going to be grabbing. Climb up through that. You may be wondering about the other bag. There will be an opportunity to get that one later. So head down instead of up now. Alright, so we fall through again. And we can get the other treasure this time just by going a bit more to the right. Alright, so we head back up here and then left to grab these couple of items. Now that we got all the items, we might as well just jump across the gaps rather than falling through the gaps. So we go into this little house here and press the button to lower the bridge. Now, if you want, you can climb up here, and there's like a little bird's nest thing up here. It's like a little Easter egg or something, I don't know. But you can get like a good item from it. So you might have seen there, we got 10 Phoenix Downs from beating the parent bird. Kind of rough, but it's worth it for the items there. Now we're going to head back up to the left here, because now we put that drawbridge down, we can come through the lower path. Alrighty, so we're going to go down instead of up this time. And head across that bridge that we put down. If you head to the left here, this is sort of like the closed end, you get an item there. You can head back out of this place. Alright, basically just want to head up and then go back to the right instead of the left now. Now, this bridge has a whole bunch of those fire enemies, so just keep running away from them if you see them. Maybe you can hold the 2 shoulder buttons to do that. And once you make your way to the end of the bridge, you'll get to Barret's hometown. There'll be lots of cutscenes and bits and pieces that we want here. I'm going to head down into the left here towards the gold saucer. And we'd like to be getting on this little trammy thing to head up to it. After having a big flashback from Barret, we ride this tram thing up towards the gold saucer here. Alright, so when we get into the gold saucer, we sort of have 2 ticket options. We can buy like a permanent one or a temporary one. I just buy the temporary one because I'm not going to be going into the gold saucer 10 times in this playthrough, so it seems worth it. Alright, so there are a whole bunch of minigames that you can play here, but there is some stuff we can do to actually progress the plot instead. Alright, so you want to head into this little disc here. And we're going to run across a new character, Kate Sith. So they'll join our party, even though we didn't really want them to. Alright, with them in our party, we want to head through to Speed. And talk to this dude. Alright, after that we're going to head up to the battle arena and head through here. And it sort of looks like Sephiroth may have been here. So we're going to head up those stairs. Though it looks like it may not have been Sephiroth. They're starting to sort of accuse Barret of doing this, so we'll play out the rest of this cutscene. And you go into the challenge room essentially. And we essentially get thrown down this hole here. Now where we end up is actually the prison in Barret's hometown. So this is sort of all surrounded by quicksand and it's very difficult to get out of it and stuff. But we're going to progress the story a little bit more and get some more of Barret's backstory here. Alright, so heading down through here, I'm going to go into this house. Alright, into the house here. Barret gives you a whole lot of backstory, then we're going to make a party. And we head back out of the house here now. We're going to head up to where we originally came from. And we're going to head up instead now. Alright, continue making our way up here through that fence. And further to the right. Now we got a boss fight coming up where we're only able to use Barret, so just make sure he's got some good materia, in particular like Restore and stuff like that. Speaking of that boss fight, it's coming up right here. So we have a little fight between Barret and Diane. Just make sure you've got that Restore materia on so you can keep restoring health easily. Alright, so after that boss fight we ended up in this little room here where Barret wants to go up. And essentially we have to win the Chocobo races to get out of prison. Just keep in mind there is a materia on sort of the right end of the room, what we can see here. Is sort of that red one there almost to the right edge of the screen. Make sure you grab that. And there it is. Another summon, which is always good. Alright, so we're going to go into the Chocobo races here. So my advice would be to swap it into manual so that you can overtake easier and don't use your boost too early. If you run out of your boost, you're going to end up going really, really slow, so just keep that in mind. But hopefully we can win the Chocobo race and get out of prison thanks to it. Alright, once we actually come out of this area, we're going to have the little buggy to help us get across the world map easier. It lets you cross shallow water in like rivers and stuff, so it's always welcome. First little step is to head to this town straight underneath. Now, you're going to have like a boss fight in here. I'd recommend saving before this one. You can sort of have the left or the right path, and each character unlocks each path. To get both paths, so you have to kill both characters at the same time, because otherwise if you just kill one of them, the other one will just run away. So I'd save before this fight and try and coordinate killing them both at the same time if you can. Alright, so with them both killed at the same time, we're going to head to the right first. And on the right is sort of this broken down reactor here. Alright, we reach for the shiny thing and grab another summon materia, which is always good. Then we're going to head out of the reactor. And then we're going to take the left path instead of the right path now. So you go left here and grab that Death Blow materia. This materia is quite good, especially if you're playing on like emulator with save states or something like that. Essentially what Death Blow does is it's a stronger attack, but it's got very low accuracy, so you'll use it if you're in a pinch. Pairing it up with something like counter attack is always really good. Alright, coming into this town now, we can see the broken down reactor there. I'm going to talk to this person to buy some accessories. Now the time materia I find is really good. What it can do is cast haste, and if you pair that up with the all materia, then when you use it, your whole party will have haste cast on them. Haste essentially just makes it so that your ATB recharges quicker and you can get more turns in. It ups your party's attacking speed, really. So more attacks more quickly. So yeah, I really would recommend that one. The only downside is it uses a lot of MP, but if you're healing quite often, it won't matter too much. I'm just going to buy a few of these, just various status healing things, just because you never know what might happen to you. And tents are always good to have as well. And we're going to head up to this house here. It's a nice little treasure chest there. And we're going to head to the left. That takes us completely out of the area, so now we're just going to jump in the buggy again and head to the left now. So try and follow this path through the world map here. And much like before when we went to Barret's hometown, we're now going to Red's hometown. Your buggy will break down here, unfortunately. So we have to sort of go into this town to get it repaired. I'm going to talk to this dude out the front. You sort of want to head up these stairs now. Alright, so we're going to head up here towards the observatory, right at the top of town. Okay, in here, and we'll talk to this dude. Now, once you talk to him, you just want to head down this ladder here on your way back out. We're going this door to form a party by talking to Kate Sith. And head back up. Alright, so he'll show us sort of this observatory thing up here. It's a little cool visual, really. Alright, so we'll be finished with this observatory. We're going to head back out. Back down the ladder. And out into that main part of town again where we were before. Now, if we go into this central area, we get a cutscene to progress the story now. You're going to build your party and then leave the central area. Then we can head back up to the observatory. So he opens this door for us, which we can now head through properly. Right, we're going to continue on further down here. There's lots of good items to get here. So opening that opens the door up the top of the room there, which you can go through. We'll head up through here. You want to walk slowly through that little oil slick there, otherwise you'll zoom forward into the spikes. Alright, heading down here. Get another materia and then back up. You're going to go up here and then left. Right, we can head down through this cave to get the chest. Now we'll head back out. There's another chest down here worth getting. We're going to head up left. Alright, heading up through here. Just keep track of what path I'm going down each time. You come across these spider enemies whenever you hit a web, which you seem to have to kill to get past. Alright, moving up, we've got a chest here. We'll come back down and up through that second door to another spiderweb. Alright, I can go left and down. That gets us towards another chest. Alright, so we'll grab that chest and head back up. Another spider boss. Alright, I can sort of go to the left to get this chest here, and then we're going to head up through that central door. Alright, we get into here and we see this thing here. You just work your way through this boss battle, then we're done with this section. Alright, once that battle's done, we're going to get some cutscenes. Alright, we come back at this fire pit here and we have to make a party again. And we head out of town and Red sort of follows us out now. Now I can put Red back in our party if we'd like to. Now I just dipped back in town here to grab another weapon. It's just that I didn't have enough money to buy it before, that's why we waited till now. And we'll head back out of town, and our buggy is fixed, which is wonderful. So we're sort of just going to head up now onto the map, across this little river here. Alright, continue sort of heading up now. And we get to this little town here. Now, this town probably looks pretty familiar because this is the same town as the flashback before, Nibelheim. Just going to head up here and into the mansion. And go up these steps. And down to that secret bit where we found Sephiroth before. So yeah, just through that secret door and then down this spiral staircase. Alright, we make our way into the library here. And believe it or not, Sephiroth is there. So Sephiroth sort of just gets angry at us and actually throws a materia at us on the way out, which is kind of strange, but make sure you pick that up. And we just make our way back out of the library here now. Alright, we just make our way out of the mansion here. And we're going to make our way up towards that Maker reactor. Alright, there's an item we can grab up here. It's a rune blade. Now, the good thing about the rune blade is that it's double growth, and what that means is any materia attached to the rune blade will grow twice as fast. So it's really good if you're trying to level up materia and get them stronger. Very worth wearing. Now we just head to the left to continue on towards the Maker reactor. And there's a little hidden item up here as well. It's a little bit tricky to know exactly how to walk up towards this item, but just keep climbing. Alright, once you go this item, just make your way back down the mountain. You only head to the left to continue on with the story. Alright, we'll go across this bridge now. And just take note of which pipe I went into there. It's pretty important you don't go down the wrong one. Got a little save point so you can use the tent or save if you want to. Now we're just going to head down this little path here. And up through this door and down there to get the chest. Elixirs are always worth grabbing. Alright, so we got a materia there. We can just keep heading through forward. Now, if you manage to fight one of these green dragons in this room, it's worth using the steal command on it. I managed to steal a gold armlet from this one, and it's a pretty big upgrade from what we're currently wearing as our defensive thing. Alright, moving on, we'll just make our way through this room. A chest over here that we can grab. I'm actually going to farm some more of these gold armlets while we're in here. Once you got as many gold armlets as you want from stealing them from those green dragons, you just head out and go up this path here. And now we're actually at the reactor itself. We don't want to go in the reactor, we just sort of want to go to the right here and go around it. So we can go up this ladder here. And that sort of brings us back to those pipes we went down before. Alright, so climb back up this ladder. We go down that pipe there. That brings us to this lovely chest here. Has an all materia in it, which is very, very good. Always get the all materia if you can, because they're amazing. Just going to jump off that little bit there. Feel free to use another tent if you'd like to. Alright, we're going to get into a fight with this boss here. Alright, we get a counter materia, which is very good to have. Counter will do a counter attack if somebody tries to hit you, so it's quite good. Alright, so just going to head out of this area here. And this sort of brings us to the next little section of the game. Right, I'm going to come into this bit, which is Rocket Town. We're going to meet a new character here called Sid as well, who sort of pilots the rocket. So that dude gave us a weapon when we talked to him, which is good. He's got a little power source and a drill arm from this house here. Out the back is Sid's plane. So this is where we go to progress the story ahead. Should tell us something about President Rufus, so then we just head back inside. Yeah, and up towards the rocket itself. And now Sid's in the rocket, so we're talking to him. Alright, once we talk to him fully, we want to leave the rocket and head back down. Then I'm going to head out back to town here. And back into this house. There's a lot of like backstory and cutscene and stuff, a lot of talking. And then we can go out to the back on the plane, and Palmer will be sitting on it. So I have a little fight with Palmer. I also really love the way this fight ends here. It's just great. I don't know where that truck was supposed to have come from, but it's so good. Alright, so basically with this fight done, we are going to get the plane, which would be great. So the plane takes off, and then we've sort of escaped from Rocket Town. But now the plane actually gets hit in the air, and now we can't fly it anymore. What's going to have to happen is we use the plane as a boat instead. Alright, so with the plane as a boat, the world has opened up a lot. We're going to do a little optional side bit involving Yuffie here, which is on this very left bit of the world map. But if you don't want to do that, you don't necessarily have to. The first thing we're going to do, though, is farm some items from these turtles here. So use the steal command on them if you can, and try and steal the item that they're holding. It's an adamant bangle. These bangles, what they do is they're really high defense, except you can't have materia. But it's a good trade-off because we're about to have all of our materia stolen with this Yuffie side quest. So ideally you'd want about 3 adamant bangles before we move on. Alright, once you're happy with that, head up towards the top left side of the map, and we'll get a little cutscene involving Yuffie. But unfortunately, she's going to steal our materia. So we realize the materia is gone, and this is where wearing those adamant bangles is going to come in very handy. Alright, so we're going to make our way up across all these bridges towards the very top left of the map here. Just follow this same path and you'll make your way there. And we now are in Yuffie's hometown. So this whole side quest is about sort of getting her back and getting all of our materia back and stuff. So chase her to the left here. You can talk to this person. Now we continue out to the left a bit further. You're going to go into this house and rest in this room. We can then go through that little door to the left there, which is very well hidden, to get a magic shuriken. And back out here. There's another little secret door there which we can go through. Then we can go in and talk to this dude. Alright, so Yuffie does appear here. And runs away. So we're going to head back out of this building now. And we'll head down here. Alright, I'm going to go into this building now. Talk to these guys. Alright, once we're done that, we're heading into this building here. Now we can open this chest to get materia there. Yuffie then steals it from us. And all these buildings that I'm going into, you sort of have to do them in the same order as to what I'm doing. Alright, so talk to this guy. And we're going to check out behind there. Yuffie is hiding. And she's hiding in this little pot here as well. They're actually going to ambush her this time. Alright, so I get a little cutscene here. Alright, with the cutscene over, we come back to Cloud and Yuffie. It's going to follow her out of that door there. Then we want to hit this switch. It doesn't matter which switch we hit, we get trapped regardless, unfortunately. So we want to hit the switch again to untrap our allies and then go back and chase Yuffie a bit further. Head out this other door now. Then we're going to head back to the left. So we're going to go back to where we went at the start of this town now. Difference is we're going to go left here and hit that gong, which opens a secret door. Alright, so Yuffie's been kidnapped. I'm going to go and save her. Get a couple good items on the way. Alright, you'll have a little fight in this section. Then we just want to run back out of that same room there. And chase these guys. We'll head back out of town here. And sort of climb this weird cliff face. Alright, you basically just follow this path and you'll make it to the right spot. Alright, we're going to head down here. Now we get a little boss fight. So just work your way through this boss fight, then we'll be done with this section. Alrighty, and we head back. And that is this little side questy bit pretty much done now. Don't forget once you've done this to re-equip all the good stuff and your materia and everything. Alright, now I actually did choose to go back into town because there's a bit more that you can do in here if you want to. We've got a weapon shop which we can buy stuff from. We go up into this little building here. We can climb up the steps. There's a little treasure chest here with HP Absorb. HP Absorb is a very good materia to have. It pairs well with stuff like counter attack and everything. Just depends what you want to use it with. Or if you're using a spell very frequently, like a lightning or something, you might want to HP Absorb with that, or MP Absorb even. I like pairing summons with MP Absorb. That's really good because it sort of balances out with the MP you lose for the summons. Alright, now one other thing you can do in this town, although you don't have to, is go into this building here, and there's a sequence of pretty challenging battles for Yuffie to complete. Now these battles are only really Yuffie in them, no one else, so just be aware you mainly want to do these if you intend to use Yuffie in your party quite a bit. So if you do beat all the battles here, you get the Leviathan materia, which is a pretty good summon, really. That's pretty much all we have to do in this town. Again, you don't have to do these battles, really. Once we're done here, we can just head out of town and make our way onto the rest of the game. This whole town Yuffie side quest thing is optional, but most people end up doing it in the game because Yuffie sort of hints that you're supposed to go this way. If you want, you can buy some more items and stuff here as well. Alright, so back on the world map, we're just going to head down sort of to the boat that we left behind. Now just continue down until we get back to where we were. Alrighty, so once we get on here, we're going to go up. Now, you can't go through any of this deep water or anything, so it can be a little bit tricky to navigate the world map. But just follow the same path that I follow and you should be fine. Alrighty. And we're going to go in here, which is Bone Village. We talk to this dude. He tells us something about a keystone. We can talk to this guy as well. He has items. We're going to head out of Bone Village. Talking to the dude with the keystone is important. Sort of our next step in the main storyline is to go and grab that keystone. It'll open up like a temple that we need to go to after. No, so he's flying around this continent more now. Where we are now on the world map is pretty much where the game started, like around Midgard sort of area. Obviously we've got a lot more mobility now that we've got our plane boat sort of thing. Alright, just going to head around the bottom side of this continent here. And we're going to get off here and just sort of make our way up now. Make sure you don't step in this quicksand, otherwise it'll suck you in and do like an annoying text box. And heading all the way out towards this town here. Alright, the reason we wanted to go to this town is because this has the thing that gets us to the gold saucer, which is sort of where we need to go next. I'm going to pay our money to get into the gold saucer here. We go to this third circle here. And we're going to go up to this battle arena. We have been here before, but we've got to do a revisit in this section of the game. I'm going to go to the showroom, and this is actually the keystone sitting up here, which is that really important item we need to progress through the rest of the game. So he wants us to do some of the battle arena. It doesn't really matter how much you manage to get through, you just get through as much as you can here. So when you're ready, just hit no way and you can exit the battle arena there. and the story will progress. You get yourself the keystone. You get different prizes depending how far you've made it through the battle arena as well, so it's worth trying reasonably hard for it. Alright, back out here. Back to the station. And the awkward thing is it looks like the tram itself is broken. So we're not going to be able to get off there now. And we're supposed to sort of stay at the hotel in the gold saucer while we're waiting for it to be fixed. This is a part of the game where you have the famous date scene. So you can go with a few different characters. In this playthrough, I ended up going with Aeris. And this is what I was saying before, is just like your decisions earlier on in the game impact stuff that happens later on. For example, this scene. Depending how you treat everyone in the game, you may go on the date with various different people. Just play through this. It's not too tricky to figure out what to do here. Alright, you have your lovely date scene, but then we see that Kate Sith has stolen something. In fact, Kate Sith has stolen the keystone, so you've sort of got to chase him around to get it back. Just follow wherever he ends up going, really. He throws the keystone up to the helicopter, unfortunately betraying us. So it turns out Kate Sith is actually a spy hired by Shinra. I don't know why the party continues to stay with Kate Sith after this, but it's a bit weird. Alright, so we spawn back at the hotel and get quite a few more cutscenes here. Make yourself a party and then we're going to head out. We can head back to the station now. And if we try and take this tram thing down, it will actually work this time, which is good. Alright, back in Barret's hometown, we're going to head out here. So we're just going to head out the way we came. And we can make our way back to the plane, which is blinking in blue on the map there. Alright, so hopping on the plane here. And we're going to head towards this temple thing now. Alright, come in and get a few different cutscenes. Once we place the keystone on the altar, we load into this room here. Lots of different paths and bits and pieces in it. So you can talk to this dude in this little room here. We just head back out once we've done that. Alright, sort of moving on to the next section here, after that weird mazy-like bit. With these ones, you just want to stay underneath the rocks in the openings. Make sure you're using your run button to get a bit of extra speed so that you can actually make it there in time. So Aeris asks us to come this way. Alright, so after a little cutscene, just head back to the right here. This dude will heal you up if you'd like to. You're about to have some pretty spicy boss fights, so it's worth healing up. Now, this clock room is kind of weird. Just try and follow the same path that I'm following. You can fall off the second hand there if you're not careful. But there's a chest down here, so it is worth falling off once. Alright, you load back into the maze after grabbing that chest there. You basically just follow the same path you used to get through it before. Luckily no rolling boulders this time to stop us. Rest up at this dude again if you'd like to, and now we're going to do the clock room actually properly. Alright, so we want the hands in this position so we can run downwards. Now there's lots of like tricky doors here. So just try and follow the order that I'm going through and you should be right. Now we're going to head through here. Alright, so Sephiroth's in this room, we get a little cutscene. And then have a boss fight with the red dragon here, so just make sure you're equipped before you come into the room. After the boss fight, we get another material, and we can go across and talk to this thing here. Alright, after that, you're going to head left out of the room here, and back into that clock room from before. The hands are exactly how we'd want them to be, because we want to go into this top room here. We're going to get a really weird boss fight here. We're about to fight literally the wall. Now, just be aware, I am about to give a spoiler, so skip forward another 20 seconds if you don't want to hear that. Before going into this battle is the last time that we'll have Aeris in the party, so if you want, you can remove all of her equipment and stuff so that you still have it. You will get her materia back after she dies, though, so don't worry about taking off her materia. Anyway, just work your way through this wall boss fight, and then we should be done with this section. Alright, so Cait Sith makes it and ends up sacrificing himself to destroy this sort of temple thing. Alright, so we see the temple does get destroyed. And inside the temple we have the black materia, but Sephiroth sort of forces us to hand it over to him. Alright, after all this we sort of wake up here and Aeris is gone. To the City of the Ancients is where she's gone, so that's where we got to sort of follow her. Alright, so we're just going to head out of town here. And luckily our plane is right there, otherwise we wouldn't be able to get back to it actually. So we're going to head back up towards the top of the map again here. Sort of follow the same sort of path I'm following here. Alrighty, and back up towards Bone Village. This place should actually look familiar because we were just here before. We can now talk to this dude who will dig for us. I'm pretty sure the spot you need to dig is consistent, so just go where I went and you want to dig pretty much here. And you let them dig in that spot. And the Lunar Harp is the item that we wanted, and we need to do that to progress through the game. So with the Lunar Harp, we're going to head up through this forest. And there is a materia floating around in this map, so just be aware of that. It's that red one over there. Probably worth grabbing that. But yeah, with the Lunar Heart, we can actually progress through this part of the game, which is good. A little water ring there. And we'll head up through this section. Alright, once you get here, we can actually go through to the proper city that we were talking about before. There's a few different branching paths, so you're going to go left first once you're in here. A little chest we can grab there if we want to. Then we just want to head back out of this section. Alright, we're then going to head to the right. And jump in here for a bit. Remember, as you're picking up all these like magic source and guard source and whatever, make sure you're using them on your characters. It'll up their stats. Alright, once you've been in that house, you want to head up and then go into this new house here. Little treasure chest to open with an elixir in it. And we get to rest for a while in this bed here. Alright, once we rested, we can sort of head out here. And we're directed to go forward into this little bit. But yeah, the spoiler that I kept mentioning before in this video is just about to come up, so just be aware of that. We have this very pretty staircase coming down to this section here. And Aeris is actually going to be down in this little bit. We have to go up these little platforms here, which have the absolute worst controls to get up there. Just try and hold the direction for the next platform as you're going. And just be aware that before you talk to Aeris, there will be a boss fight in this, so make sure you're fully equipped for that. Right, I won't spoil it in this video, but let's just say there's a cutscene and a boss fight. Right, so work your way through Genova, and just be aware you won't have Aeris in your party anymore for the rest of the game. Right, with Genova beaten, we're going to get a couple cutscenes. That's the end of Disc 1, so time to insert Disc 2, and we'll continue on with the story. Right, so with Disc 2 inserted, you load straight back into the town here. And we want to head upwards. Out through this exit here at the top of the town. We go up this little staircase bit to climb up. And it's like a little puzzle bit here to grab all the chests. Just sort of follow the same path that I'm following here. Alright, then I'm going to head up through this bit and progress through the rest. Up through this door now, we get another power source. And up through this little door here, that brings us out onto the Snowfield itself. There's only really one place you can go here, and that's into this town up here. So just keep heading left along this coast, and then up once you pass this mountain. You should find the town pretty quickly. Right, so we're going to talk to this guy here. Alright, so Eleanor will sort of roll down the hill there. I've only gone to this house here. Now we can buy some weapons. Alright, next we're going to go into that house next. Head down the staircase here. Get a turbo ether, which is good. Over into this house. And we're really interested in that snowboard there. So he wants to give us the snowboard. Very important that we get that to progress on with the story. We can go into this house as well while we're here. A couple of good items to grab. And we can also check out this house. Lots of goodies all over this town. Got an X potion there. And we head out. Now you also want to grab that map off the wall in this house there, and that'll help us navigate a little bit later. But now we can just head up through this section and do the snowboarding. It's a very weird dynamic shift in the game. Sort of the tone goes from very sad to very fun snowboarding minigame. Pretty strange. Grab as many balloons as you can. As you get towards the bottom of this, you'll have a few different options for what way to go. Now the branching paths won't happen until you hit about 2 minutes on the timer, but to follow this guide you want to go left on that first branching path. And also you want to go left on the second branching path there. And that should be the snowboard section finished off. So if you've gone left and left, you'll come out in the same spot that I've come out here, and then you can sort of follow this guide for where to go. Alright, there's a little mine source at the top of this map, probably worth getting. We head out to the right. And keep going to the right a little bit further. We're going to grab that potion there and go across the frozen lake. Now this lake thing sort of has a cool puzzle. So pretty much, yeah, you got to stand on the big ones and you got to keep making the big so that you're able to make a path across successfully. So that's a possible solution that you could use there. I'm going to head into this cave here. And just grab that item and then head back out. Alright, and coming back we got to do the same sort of thing we did to come across, just with this puzzle. And then we got the top right exit here. And keep heading to the right. Go to the right of this tree. You got the diagonal path. Keep going. Yeah, a little bit further. Then want to head up again. Go out that top right exit again. Get an added cut materia there, which is good. And head out the top left. You want to touch the hot spring there, and the reason why will come up later. Continue heading up. And we're in the actual Snowfield now. So you're supposed to place landmarks to know that you're going in a straight line, essentially, because the camera will start rotating around. It's pretty easy to use the snow texture to sort of keep yourself going the right direction, but do use these flags if you want some help knowing you're going the right way. Basically, you do just want to go forward from where we start, and if you've done it right, you will end up at this cabin here. Just say no to this guy, and then he'll just talk to you for a bit longer. Alright, so we'll come outside and regroup. And we're not going to go up the mountain straight away. We're actually going to go back into the snowfield first. So rather than going straight down, you're sort of going to go down and then take a right eventually. It's a little bit weird, the path that you take here, but you want to get yourself to this cave. Because we get an all materia in that cave. And as I said before, the all materias are absolutely fantastic. Try and get as many of those as you can. Alright, eventually you should be able to head out of this cave and continue our way forward. Now we should get to this little map here. You pretty much just want to keep heading to the right now. And you should get yourself to this cave here. You can talk to this guy. This stuff depends on whether you touched the hot spring before. Alright, and just win that battle, and you get the Alexander materia. Once you're happy with that, just head back out the cave to the left, and go back the way we came. We're now actually going to go and climb that mountain. Cloud does get exhausted and fall over eventually, so you will walk back to this little place if you do that, so it's a little quick way to get back there. If not, you just go back through the snowfield. So yeah, just follow the guy's instructions that he gave you for this minigame. It shouldn't be too bad to keep your body heat up. Just don't rush it. Take your time at each of these flags. Make sure you're doing it properly. Alright, we're going to climb up this little bit here. Again, at the flag, we just restore our body temperature. And climbing again. And just follow this sort of path up. Now we can head into this cave to progress. Alright, if you head back down through this door, it should be the right way to go so that we can get the ribbon there. The ribbon may be one of the best items in the game. It protects against every single possible status effect, so make sure you equip that ribbon to somebody whenever you get it. Alright, head back up through that door, push the rock over. And back up. And so just follow this path back to where that rock fell through. And through here and then out of the cave. We then have a little bit more climbing to do. So just follow the same directions that I'm taking here. You're right, we're going to go through that cave just at the very top there. Go to the right to get an elixir. We can sort of take the winding path up here now. So you're going to get into fights with literally the icicles that are hanging off the roof. Just try and win these fights and the icicles will fall down. So once you've won the fight, the icicles will fall down. You're going to have to do this 4 times. Alright, you let the last icicle fall down. Just keep saying no to jumping off the edge as well. You can go and get these chests. And you just want to jump down here. Right, get a speed source there. We can head up through here. And we got more climbing to do now. So you just try and follow the same path I've known here. And into this cave here to progress. You can touch that pool to restore your health and magic and stuff, just be aware of that. Now we'll head down through this section now. Get a little boss fight. Now once you win this boss fight, it's probably best to go back up to that lake and heal your health again, because it's probably not a great situation after that boss fight's done. Alright, with yourself healed, you're going to head back down, past where you originally did fight the boss. Alright, then we're going to go in here. Going to climb more mountain face, believe it or not. Right, when we get to the top here, we're going to see a hectic cutscene with this little bit, which we're going to head back down into soon. Just sort of make your way down this hill. This whole section is pretty linear, really. Don't forget to grab that materia on the way through. Alright, continue on forward. Alright, there's chests there you can grab, just keep going on this linear path, really. We get to Sephiroth at the end of the path here. And we'll have to do another fight against Junon. Alright, once you've won that, you get to see the black materia there. Cloud doesn't really want to take it. I like to give it to red. I think that might be the only option you can actually pick, but that's the one I picked it here anyway. Alright, the cutscene finishes off. It's going to keep heading up, really. Gotta be careful of this little like electricity thing, try not to get knocked back by it. Now we'll keep heading up through this section here. There's a whole bunch of like story and cutscene stuff. I'll try not to spoil it too much. Alright, so after quite a long time of cutscenes, you wake up back in Junon here. Alright, so pretty much follow this path through here. And into this room. So Tifa's gonna, she's not in a great situation, we gotta save her. Alright, so we get attacked by the weapon. So now sort of, like a weapon is triggered by doing that whole Sephiroth stuff, and it's gonna come and like try and destroy the town, essentially. There are several different weapons in this game. I'll only be fighting the one you actually have to fight, which I think is called Diamond Weapon, and we'll fight it a lot further on. But there's like Ruby and Emerald Weapon, which are like really difficult fights. Alright, so with Barret, you want to try and open that door where Tifa's behind, but you're not going to have much luck. They shoot all their ammunition at the weapon, but nothing really much is happening to it. Alright, so after this, Kate Sith suggests you head to the airport. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head to the right here. Alright, we see Yuffie there. We'll grab her and continue on forwards. Alright, we're going to ride this elevator up here. And head to the right. Alright, so now we have this little minigame with Tifa. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this. Just try like pressing combinations of buttons and stuff all at the same time. I think the hard bit was really getting it from the feet to the mouth there. That's the awkward part. But you'll eventually get out of the chair with Tifa. Alright, once you're out of the chair, you can check out the door there. It's not really going to open for you. But conveniently, the weapon blows a big hole in that jail cell. So, yeah, Tifa can just get out of that instead. Yeah, with TPs, I always want to head down this section here. And all the way up to the end of this cannon thing. We have this little exchange with Scarlet. Alright, and eventually they sort of like take in the airship, so yeah, that's cool. Now we just have the airship. And they've managed to save Tifa from the edge of the cannon there. So this opens up a whole lot of mobility across the game, having the airship. You can pretty much fly anywhere you want, really. So yeah, head through there. Alright, then we want to head right across this bridge here. Alright, you want to talk to quite a few different people. Just talk to the people that I talk to, like Red, for example. You talk to Sid as well. And talk to Barret. And Kate Sith. Alright, so once you talk to the right people there, you can head back to the operation room and actually progress on with the game. So you want to talk to this guy and he'll let you make a party and stuff. Once you've made a party, you head back out to the cockpit itself and talk to the pilot. Then the pilot will actually let you fly the thing. Alright, so it's really cool that we actually get this out on the world map. It's fantastic. So first thing we're going to do is head over to this town here, Costa del Sol. We have been here before. I'm just going to buy some stuff that we weren't able to get before. You talk to this dude. He's got these, which are good. Alright, we'll head out of this little building now. That's pretty much all we needed to do in here. It's just that that guy has different stuff on disc 2. That's why we went there. So continue heading across. We're actually going to go here. This is where we bought the Chocobo stuff before. Now that we've got a bit more money, we can just buy a bit more. That's the Chocobo lure that I was talking about there. So you didn't actually have to spend money on it earlier in the game. If you bought heaps of greens before, you don't really need to do much of this. There's a particular type. It's the Mimit greens that you need to buy. So just be aware of that. Buy a few of them. Alright, we're then going to head to this town here. This is where Cloud actually is. So we're going to go through sort of the motions of saving Cloud now. All these shops have like a crazy shopping lady. And if you give this thing the greens, it'll be happy with you. Just follow the same paths that I'm taking and you should get the materia from it. Right, I can go into the weapon shop and the lady will be there yet again. There's something about talking to the lady. I think once the town is destroyed, if you have talked to the lady in the past, you can actually get those items still. So it's worth talking to her. Alright. Now we'll go into this building up here. You talk to these guys. This is the accessory shop, so you can buy some accessories there if you'd like to. And you want to get that key from over there. That'll help you open this door here. It's not actually a real door, they just painted it on for whatever reason. It's a bit strange. So you get that ring there from doing that. Now we're going to head out of this section. Into this shop. The lady's in there yet again. Alright, so we want to head out here. Talk to the little dog there if we want to as well. It turns out Cloud is in this town, so we're going to go up into that building and see him. Alright, we see Cloud in a wheelchair over here. Alright, after a whole bunch of cutscenes, you end up back in the airship. So now you can form a party with Sid if you'd like to. Notice you won't have the ability to use Tifa, because Tifa is with Cloud right now. Alright, head back up and then pilot the ship again. Alright, so we're heading down here. And we're actually going to go up to the Coral Reactor now. Alright, so you just want to backtrack across this whole section. Heading all the way up and then left. Now once you've done that, you'll get to the reactor here. You talk to these guys. Alright, so a train comes out of the reactor here and we have like a little train game thing. Alright, so you gotta do the levers how he's telling you to do them. If you do it well enough, you should be able to catch up. He's heading across the train to the left. Alright, eventually you'll make it far enough left that you'll get to the front of the train here. Alright, you get to control this train. And hopefully stop it before it smashes into the whole town. Get a huge materia for doing that as well. Alright, head down here, we'll get a little cutscene. And we get Ultima as well, which is good. Ultima materia is quite a powerful magic. I'd recommend equipping it. Alright, so after we rest it up, we come out of the house here, go into this other one. Yeah, then we head out, get into our plane again, and we're going to fly around. So next thing we need to do is this section here, the Fort Condor kind of thing. This was like a real-time strategy game kind of thing. If you want to make it really easy for yourself, just pay a whole bunch of money. It's almost like pay to win, but with in-game currency. But realistically, you do have to do this at some point, so now's the time to do it. This is actually optional. We could have done it a lot earlier, but it's not worth doing it because you got to do it now anyway. Let's go talk to this dude at this table. And head up through this door here. Alright, so we can set our units here. Yeah, realistically, you can just set a whole bunch here to fight for you. I'm just putting them all on sort of this front line and putting heaps of stuff. So I played through most of this game, but I actually had them attack eventually. It seems that all that happens is you just get into an actual fight with them when they do that. And if you win that fight, it progresses as normal. It doesn't seem too bad. Alright, so he's asked us to go outside and check out what happened up there. And we get that materia. And we can head out. We can talk to this dude at the table again. And he gives us the huge materia. So that's like the key item we need to progress the story a bit further. Once you've finished talking to him, just go left and down this ladder here. And back out. Right, we're going to get back into our plane now. And we're actually going to go back and see Cloud and Tifa in this town. So let's walk straight in and go to this little hospital place. You still want to talk to Tifa here. And the actual town itself is going to be getting attacked by the weapon. So if you run out the hospital, you'll run down and have a look. And we'll have a little fight with the weapon here. Eventually it will sort of just fly away, so just try and keep yourself alive until then. Alright, and the town's going to get destroyed, so we sort of have to run away here. Now in this section, Tifa's sort of in Cloud's subconscious, so there's not really a whole lot that's hard to figure out here, so I will skip through most of this part. So after all this cutscene is finished, we do get Cloud and Tifa back, which is good. Make sure you talk to this guy to make yourself a party, and then we'll progress onwards. When you're ready, talk to the pilot, and then we can pilot the plane yet again. Alright, so we're going to go back to Junon now. Head forward through, so we go sort of like leftish. Then we're going to go on this little elevator. Ride the elevator up. We're going to go out that left door there. And make our way back down through Junon. Continue onwards. And we're going to head down, so we see these soldiers here. Just a reminder, if you haven't set your limit breaks to higher levels, make sure you're doing that as well. Alright, heading down here. And we go down this elevator. Sort of looks like the previous elevator, but it's actually different. Alright, so basically what we're going to do here is try and steal a submarine, because we'll need that to progress the story. You'll fight this ship thing underwater and then continue onwards. Alright, so you're going to head to the right here and you'll come into full view of the submarine. You'll make us fight this thing. Alright, so you're going to get the side to the left here. Then run out towards the submarine over there. A little item to grab with that one. And we'll head up the stairs to the submarine now. Go and use it like a tent or a save point if you want. I'm going to head through to the bridge now. Alright, let's pick the second option there. Alright, and we got the submarine. You got to play this minigame thing here. So you want to try and hit them with your missiles as best you can in the minigame there. Eventually, hopefully, you'll get them all and get your mission complete message. If you do that, then you successfully got the submarine. Apparently there's something that happens, whereas if you miss this one, you get the other submarine somehow, but I don't know exactly how that works. Alright, with the submarine, you're going to spawn sort of underwater-ish now. You can surface up pretty easily, which is what we're going to do straight away. So there's a couple bits and pieces to check out here. You can see that other red submarine over there. You get the huge materia out of that submarine, so that's really important to get that based on the plot. Alright, we'll continue on with our submarine adventure. So I'm going to go back into Junon now. And we'll go up the lift again. So I'm going to jump in here, go up to sort of the airport area. And yeah, you need to do that to progress the plot because they're going to take away the material we're trying to get. Come out of the elevator and keep progressing. Alright, so flying across to Rocket Town. Alright, so in Rocket Town, we just go to that first house to the left there. The bracelet to grab up there. Continuing on, we're going to go to the actual rocket itself. Now you can see there's heaps of Shinra people here. Alright, Sid comes to join us. We make a party with him. And we're going to head up the ladder here to get into the rocket. Battle this dude, but after that we're going to head inside. Yeah, it's pretty cool cutscene, the rocket taking off and everything. Alright, we're then going to head right through this section here. And we get the huge materia. Now the passcode for this is circle square XX, so just enter that and you should get the materia. Alright, head down this section here. Alright, you play out a few more cutscenes and then you do manage to escape the rocket. Alright, so the next place to go is Cosmo Canyon in our ship. So I've been to Cosmo Canyon before. This is Red's hometown. We're just going to head back there and go to the observatory. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you land the ship on dirt like that, so we got to land it on the grass over there. But now that we've landed, we just walk over to Cosmo Canyon. And we're going to head up to the observatory again. Just before we go there, we're going to go into this building here. There's some goodies to get. Alright, head back out of the shop here. If you want, you can buy some extra stuff like Phoenix Downs or tents or whatever. Always worth having lots of those. Alright, we're now going to head out of here. Going through up to the observatory now. Now, each of these 4 materials that are floating here, you can eventually get. I actually messed up in this playthrough. There was one that I was already able to get, and I didn't think to actually go and get it. So I came back later and grabbed it in this playthrough, but you can grab one of those 4 at this point anyway. Probably worth doing so. Alright, we're now going to the city again. And take a left this time. So we need to go to this big central area here. Alright, after a big cutscene plays out, we just head back out of the city. Alright, we're going to get in our plane and fly over here. So this is where we actually really need the submarine. So we're going to take the submarine north here and go underwater a little bit. So ignore that little building under there for now. So we're trying to get underneath the City of the Ancients, which is where we just were above ground with that big cutscene. So just keep following this path that I'm taking, really. There should be a little cave here that you can go through. And that's key to the Ancients. Now we can take the submarine back. And we're moving back to where we actually landed our plane just before. Yeah, I don't really do much with the submarine in this game, to be honest. But you do have to grab that key to the Ancients with it. Right, again, we're just going to land on here and go inside. Go back to where we saw that cutscene before. Now we'll talk to this dude again. Get a bit more cutscene, then we'll just head back out again. Alright, so it looks like the weapon is on its way to Midgar there. So we're actually going to try and get into a battle with the weapon at the moment. Alright, so we land here and so just hang out and wait for it, really. That's all we can do. It will eventually come across here. Alright, so yeah, just hang out on the beach, be ready for a tough boss battle. Alright, beat the weapon, it sort of goes away there. So in this cutscene, they sort of like shoot the cannon through the weapon, but also like shoot it through Sephiroth's little protection bubbles. So they do two things, unlike unlock the last bit of the game. Alright, after all these cutscenes, you do get control of your ship again, which is nice. Now, I'm going to head across to Cosmo Canyon, and that's only because I forgot to grab that other materia before. You probably don't need to if you grabbed it when I said to. Yeah, so that materia there is the one we wanted. So it gives you Neo Bahamut, which is really quite a good summon. Yeah, any of those Bahamut... Sorry, it gives you Bahamut 0. Any of those Bahamut summons are really good. I think to get that Bahamut 0, you need normal Bahamut and Neo Bahamut, and that's what unlocks it. And the other three materia have similar things to unlock them. Right, we're getting back in the plane and taking off. So we can fly over to where we sort of fought Sephiroth before in the Snowfield. They comment on the fact that his energy barrier is gone. But there's some other stuff going on in Midgar that we got to take care of first. Now, I wouldn't recommend this, but if you hold down when this cutscene starts, you do a glitch which skips like a pretty large chunk of the game. We're about to do the big raid on Midgar section, and it would skip pretty much all of that and go straight up to the Hojo fight if you held down at the start of this cutscene. But I'm going to play through it normally in this walkthrough, so we'll do it glitchless. Alright, so essentially what we want to do is fly back to Midgar now. And we're going to do that whole raid on Midgar segment. We're getting pretty close to the end of the game. We just got to do this, and then we got to do the actual final section. Alright, jump off the ship and get yourself into Midgar. Alright, when you come in, you come down this ladder. Get an elixir there. And a mega elixir. We'll head back through that section. And we'll head down this ladder here. We'll head up the other one, get ourselves an item. Now we just head back down again. Now we'll head into this little vent thing here. Drops us out there. And on the right we have another elixir. So I head down here. Alright, back through this little vent before we get to the next area. So climb up this ladder, and then up that central ladder there. Worth saving and or using a tent here if you want to. And we're in here. So this should look familiar, this place. This is sort of like the railway tunnel thing. There's a boss that does fire damage, so that's why I equipped the fire ring there. It's coming up pretty soon. Speaking of the boss, here it is. So work your way through these. I'm pretty sure you only have to kill one of these to actually win the fight, so try not to focus on too many all at once. Alright, with the boss fight done, I'm just going to go and use another tent to restore health. Kind of works out conveniently because there's a save point out there, but then we're just going to head back into the tunnels. Now, the open end is up and the closed end is down, so we're just going to go to the closed end first and get all the goodies. Can get a little bit tedious running through this tunnel, but just keep running down and you'll get to where you need to be. Alright, get the power source. I'm going to keep heading down. You got another box there with a guard source. And keep heading down. 2 more boxes here, mind source and magic source. And all the way down we have W item. W item is a fantastic materia. So what it does is it lets you use 2 items at once. So for example, you could use like a Phoenix Down and an X potion or something to completely heal somebody. So yeah, I'm going to equip W item and use it pretty commonly. There is a pretty well-known glitch with W item, which lets you clone items. So if you're interested in that, it'd be a good way to sort of power yourself up very well by cloning stuff with W item. Yeah, we got that, so we're going to head back up through this tunnel. It's going to take us quite a while to get back up to where we were. Just going to keep heading up for ages, really. I decided to take a right there at that branching path. So you do have the option to go to Shinra headquarters here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Shinra headquarters first, essentially. So it was that right, then the left there was Sid. But basically, the reason I'm going here is there's just a couple of good items to get from here. You don't have to go to Shinra headquarters at all, but I'm just going to grab those items while we're here. Alright, so come straight in. Get those two items in there already. To go up the elevators. Come out of the elevators on this floor. You go to that floor. 63 is the one we want. So more items. We get the glow lance. Go up there to get that item. Now, I stress these items are only here when you come for the revisit. They're not there originally when you're in Shinra. Alright, so I'm going to go through these elevators now. 59 is the floor we want. Alright, so we're actually going to go left and go down these stairs to get out. The back entrance. These are the stairs that I chose not to go through earlier on in the game. But the point of going down these stairs is there is eventually an item in there. Alright, here it is, elixir. And since we come this far, we might as well just keep going down the stairs anyway. Alright, you'll come out the exit here. Sort of head downwards, really. And then back out into these tunnels. Alright, so you want to go back down the tunnel. And then go left here rather than right. Alright, so you're going to climb this tower to the left here. Get a little boss fight. So work your way through this, or we'll move on. Alrighty, so after the boss is beaten, we're just going to head up through this bit here. And a couple of chests to open. Here I've swapped Barret into my party. And the reason I swapped him in is because there's a weapon that will only appear if Barret's in your party up here. So I'm just going to go and grab that weapon. I actually don't want to use Barret for the battle, so I'm going to come back down and swap away from Barret afterwards. But it's worth grabbing that weapon just in case. Just going to come down and swap Barret out now. Alright, heading back up here. Getting towards the end of this Midgar section. Alright, we're about to have the fight with Hojo, so just make sure you're all decked out with your materia and healed up and stuff. And just work your way through this fight, being aware that there are multiple phases to it. Alright, after you've beaten Hojo, you sort of go back onto the ship here, and we're about to start Disc 3. Everyone sort of goes off and does their own thing for a little bit, apart from Cloud and Tifa, who just hang out here. So a couple of cutscenes play out with the ship, and then you're prompted to insert Disc 3. So Disc 3 is literally just this last dungeon here. Now, this dungeon does actually have an excellent grinding spot, which I will point out. So if you're wanting to level up and do all the extra stuff that's in the game, this is definitely the place to do it. The weird thing is the grind requires you to have elixirs, although you can farm elixirs on some of the enemies down here. You pick up a save crystal there and you can pretty much put it wherever you want to put it. I'd put it towards the final boss, personally. Just going to head down here and grab all these items. Alright, so you can sort of jump up and down this section. Just keep following the same path and you should be getting all the treasures. Alright, so we'll come down here and we sort of get two choices of path. You can end up going down both paths if you want to, and there are items on both paths. So I'm choosing the left path first here, sort of breaking it up into two separate parties. Alright, so I'm going to go up through this. Now this is the grinding spot that I was talking about. You can find enemies in this section which are called like magic jars, I think. And if you feed them an elixir, that's the only way that you can beat them. You feed them an elixir and they become vulnerable. So something like this. Feed them the elixir and then actually attack them. Now the really good thing about magic jars is just they give you an insane amount of like experience and gold and the AP. AP is what levels up your materia. So realistically, you can get a lot of your materials to that maximum powerful level just by fighting a few of these jars. Obviously, the limitation is how many elixirs you have. So I'm just going to use all the elixirs that I managed to get over the game and probably kill maybe like 10, 20 jars. But you can farm elixirs on some of the other enemies in this area. And if you're wanting to use glitches, you could use the W item glitch to clone elixirs and then just have heaps. But yeah, that's definitely one of the best ways to level up in this game and much quicker than spending time earlier on trying to do the level ups. Alright, moving on. So actually how to get all these treasures in here can be a little bit confusing, but just follow this path and you'll get them all. So now realistically I'm just going to grind those jars and try and level up a bunch before the final boss. Once you're done leveling up as much as you want in here, you can head out this right exit on the second pool. And we come into this room here. So W magic's also pretty good. It's similar to W item really. Well worth equipping. Alright, so there's actually a materia floating just here. You sort of have to click it as clouds jumping across. I'll climb up this little bit here. Alright, this area should look pretty familiar. This is the lake where we were grinding those jars. But we're actually just going to head out of here and up there. This brings us back to that part where the paths branched out and we could choose which one we're going down. Alrighty, so the reason we're heading down the path over here is just because there's a couple of items to grab, really. Alright, so we sort of end up down here, and this is the path down to the final boss now. So make sure you're really healed up. You may want to use your save crystal and a tent if you'd like. And we're going to head down once you're ready. You just want to head down these rocks. You can get encounters, but it's very linear. Once you get down to the bottom, you will get attacked here. Now, realistically, with the final boss, you just have to make your way through it. Keep using all your summons and magic and healing and stuff. It's a slog, but you do eventually get towards the end. That's all sort of the non-linear, open-ended stuff that I really want to talk about in this walkthrough. So I really hope that you found this useful. It's quite a long game, but I think my main frustration with it is just not knowing where to go. So hopefully this video has been helpful. And thanks so much for watching.